Hi everyone, it's Jennifer Dono. I am the voice and face behind Time and Tide plans, and in this video we're going to plan November of 2023. However, this is more of a generalized plan with me month, so no matter what time of year you're watching this, you can hopefully gain something from it. As you can see, I use index cards to plan over a planner. I do still reference a Google Calendar, so it's not like I'm totally analog here with the paper and the tangible items. As you see, my computer just passed by. So here's the thing. I recorded this on Monday. I think it was October 30th, and today is November 1st, and I've already rewatched it to see what it was that I actually did, because I don't exactly plan out in the video what I'm doing, but I do have a method that I go through each month. And so now you can actually see it instead of me just talking about it, which I usually do in my videos. But I've already reviewed the footage and I feel really good. I feel ready for the month ahead, and I feel productive and just no stress. And I hope this video is going to do the same thing for you. Now, as you see, I have a larger piece of paper on top of these printed out, cut up index cards. So I use just regular printer paper for this. All of this is from my Just Get Started card deck, along with a few of the other products I sell in my Etsy shop, as well as free products that I have listed below with links, so you can grab a lot of these downloads for free, including this holiday list. So what I've already done is I've taken the free holiday list that's here on my table. And let's just give you a heads up here. I live on a boat, so at times you'll see my work surface sway, and that's why. And that's why my table looks a little weird, because it's a boat table. I don't know. Listing out my holidays. Going back to this. This is a free download of just holidays I think are fun and that I've used year after year. I am putting them onto my monthly printed out index card. This goes in front of every day, so I'm constantly touching it. I'm being reminded of the dates that are coming up. That way, I just think it's a lot more fun. I read an article recently about vacations. So the idea that vacations are not really good for us, they're just a way for us to pass time and to have something to look forward to. So if you're like me and a vacation every month or every season is out of budget, the idea that you're planning ahead for these fun, cute holidays, incorporating activities or maybe some type of entertainment or media consumption around it, or learning opportunity or activity, it really makes the time pass, especially right now during Halloween to Christmas space, and even more importantly if you're in the UK or somewhere outside of the US where you don't have Thanksgiving to look forward to. These holidays mean a lot to me. So I'm incorporating items not just from this holiday list, but also birthdays, appointments, like big appointments or events. And then also I just recently got to do this where I'm celebrating anniversaries. I've not chosen too many, but I'm pulling from these date dividers, which you'll see in a second. From 2023 or 2022, September of 2022 at the end until end of September 2023, I wrote down a daily moment that was memorable, and I get to pull from that now and celebrate anniversaries, and I have a whole video that I talk about it you can reference. So I'm adding those onto this card as well. So it's all really fun, and I'm super excited for November after having done this activity. Before I forget, some of the free printables. So you see this holiday list here, but I also have a planning checklist. So if you're new to getting your month all set up so that you're not mid-month and trying to figure things out, but you have everything ready to go at the beginning of the month, I have a planning checklist. And of course you can do this at any point in the month. It's just once you get in the habit, you'll be able to have it set by, for example, November 1st. So I have a planning checklist. I also have a routine refresh list. It's a number of prompts that you can answer for yourself. It's things that I've gone over in the past, and I tend to always reset my routine around the holidays. There's something about the change of season where it's colder and darker that you just kind of want to change things up a little bit, and so it walks you through that. Now, I just recently went over a time blocking exercise. Again, I have a video for that. It's waking up at 5 a.m., but you don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. But basically, it looks at how you currently spend your time, and then another column where you're able to block based off of a realistic look at your time, and also just changes that you wanted to make based off of that routine refresh. That's for free. That's below. And then also there's some fun activity cards, and you'll see those in a little bit. I use those more of like my artist dates. That's a practice that Julia Cameron has from the Artist Way that I've incorporated or try my best to. Doing artist dates and taking that time for yourself to just like explore what interests you is really hard, especially if you have priorities in all sorts of different areas of your life. It's just hard to take that time. So I like having that weekly reminder. That's a download that you can cut those cards up and file them away. And they're more like fall, Thanksgiving type specific, but not all of them are Thanksgiving. So if you're not doing Thanksgiving, there's something for you in there too. Is that it? No, there's also, oh my gosh, you guys, there's a movies and shows list too that's Thanksgiving specific and also like fall specific. There's some like football movies in there. But on the top of it is Friends, and I have every Thanksgiving episode and what season it's in listed. And Matthew Perry just passed. And I know everybody's watching Friends now that watched it. I watched Friends growing up, and so I'm looking forward to revisiting the Thanksgiving episodes because those are always the best too. My favorite one is with Brad Pitt. Oh my goodness, that one was so fun. So now that I have set just like the basic foundation for the month ahead, what I do, and this stems back from using a passion planner. One of my favorite things about the passion planner is that it is so goal oriented. That's, exploring your passion, trying to reach your vision, that type of thing. And consolidating everything from my passion planner over to the card deck, I added the prompts for the monthly review. I think I've always had them, but I used to do this monthly review in the passion planner. Now I do it in the card system. I was including it in like a journal where I do my morning pages, but for this month, what I'm trying out is actually doing the monthly review on the monthly card divider. I actually really like the results, and I like the idea that I can have what it was that went well, things I was grateful for, or like things I wanted to change, lessons I learned, that type of thing. I like the idea that I'm going to file this back behind September. So in 2024, when October comes around and I have a new divider, I can look well ahead of time and see, okay, let's not make the same mistakes in October, or, oh, this worked really well, let's repeat this. So I kind of like having it on the divider, but we'll see how it goes. And all my dividers too have like a dot grid on it, so that I know, maybe it's just me, but I really like to write in straight lines, but sometimes my writing doesn't take up the line, or it goes over like a hard solid line. So I like the dot grid like as a light gray dot, just to be able to play with the space but have things line up. Now these prompts are things that have helped me, but the thing about the Just Get Started card deck, which is what this is in, it comes with a Canva template, so you can fully customize to your household's needs. But then also, you could just as easily, like, I would love for you to try out my product, but you could easily just grab an index card and write down your own prompts, color code it. That is the tradition of the Sidetracked Home Executive card deck, which is what this is inspired by. And, you just use regular index cards. I have this, and I've always had it typed up just because I like things really neat and tidy. And also, I was living in a small town, and I just didn't have access to all of the index card items. So creating a card with a printer sheet was just way easier for me. And it's proven to be beneficial over the years because now I can just reprint things and I don't feel so bad if I make a mistake or I need to get a new card. So anyway, I mentioned it just a moment ago about the memorable moments. This is from those date dividers, and something I do in my card deck, which I also have the Just Date dividers too. That's another product. Sorry to be pushing my shop so much in this video. I feel bad. I included the date divider lines. So for example, on the 1st, you see January 1st, February 1st. Whenever the dates come up, I write a memorable moment on it. Like I said, I have all those anniversaries now. So what I'm doing is just going through those date dividers and seeing moments that stood out to me and noting that. So what I would do then is host a family council. It's something that's promoted within the book Sidetracked Home Executives, but it's also if you have friends who, or maybe yourself, you're in the Mormon faith. This is something Mormons practice, family councils, and there's quite a bit of information online where they share what it is that you should do in your monthly councils, bringing up these memorable moments in the family council, and then like discussing with the kids what their favorite thing was, or your husband or significant other. It's just kind of a fun activity too. I do like to end the month with a gratitude exercise, and for the month of October, I just chose to make a simple list of all the things for that month that I was feeling grateful for. But there's so many other gratitude exercises that you could choose from, games or, some type of visualization exercise that you could pick instead. In flipping over the card too, you can see that, this is just done on a printer paper. I was using highlighters that I just bought at Target. You can watch that vlog too. I throw them in my cart. It's been a while since I've gotten new highlighters, so I was really excited about these, and there was only one other option from this midliner company or brand that I could choose from, and I'm not crazy about this color scheme, but there's a few colors in there that I can pull from. But my point in bringing up the highlighters, is that, there is a little bit of bleed through, but again, it's not even an issue. I prefer personally, and I've thought about doing it for myself, and I will do it at some point just so I can have the experience, so when people ask me about it, I can tell them, oh, I've tried this. But I do prefer the printer paper over a nicer cardstock because it's so light. It's flexible. I can throw it into my card bag, put it into my bag, and take it with me in the car. And that way, this isn't a card file system that's sitting somewhere in my kitchen that I can only think about when I'm in my kitchen. It's always present with me. I'm always touching it. And it's something about being able to always touch it and shuffle the cards and look ahead that really reduces my anxiety. It makes me feel excited for the week to come. And overall, it helps with that overwhelming feeling that some of us might feel sometimes of the year. As I'm moving further into the card deck, and I'm going to talk to you about, or I'm going to share with you going through the month and show you what I've already set up in November without even thinking about it. It was already set. That's the beauty of the card deck. I'm not creating new to-do lists or anything like that. It's just like it's a routine, it's a flow, it's something that's already been set up. I want to just show you what I'm doing to get ready for my actual day ahead. And these cards too, let me just tell you, they're a free download. They are the planner card system that I'm working with for my 12-week year. This is my second round doing it, and it's going really well, except for last week. I didn't get my perfect score that I have been getting. I have a vlog about it. So I set those aside. I don't want to deal with that at the moment. But what I am doing right now is just kind of looking over those task cards for that goal that I need to take care of today. In going over these daily cards, you can see here I have the weekly routine or rhythm. That's what I was about to say. But that gives me just a quick reference for a flow if I need to set an appointment or anything like that. It's just a reminder, oh, this is the best day for you based off of what you've set. I also have cards for affirmations. This one's more of an affirmative, or my goal written out in an affirmative way so that it just reminds me every day what it should be, what I should be focusing on. And then here's a couple cards that I need to redo, and I'll make a video about this too. Number one is the vision card or the vision board card. I've already realized many of the things on that card, so I want to reset it and get a new one. I've been working with that vision board card for a couple years now. And then also was that savers card, which is the morning routine, just because, like I said, I've reset my routine to be a little bit earlier. And I also have the goal of NaNoWriMo, which I'll talk about later. Now, going through these daily cards, I've already completed a few of them, so I shuffle the cards to the next day's date. I put those cards in front of, for example, I think that next date would have been the 31st. I'll set those daily cards, which are color-coded in yellow, with daily actions that I just do around my home to keep it nice and tidy and peaceful and a great place to be creative from. That goes in front of that date divider. And then I file any weekly items away as well. Some of these are from Saturday. I don't look at my card deck in general on Sunday, so you have some of the ones that were I didn't get to on Saturday. I'm filing over to the following Saturday. I'm setting aside the October activity cards because I did get to those, and I'm going to just go ahead and file those away, or I'm not going to, I did. I put those away in a plastic bag that I keep of like extra cards. You see me touching the cards a lot and like moving them around. Again, it's just a feature of the cards. It makes me feel good, and it allows my mind to decide what it is that I'm doing next, because I could technically go straight into my goal planning and figure out those projects, but it felt a little overwhelming. And plus, I need to figure out what's most important to me, which is my household items, and really deal with those first. So those are my weekly dividers, which are the scorecards. And again, that's free, and I've linked those below. They're the planner cards. So now we're getting into like the real deal planning for the month. I'm going to walk you through the cards. This is without me touching them yet. This is just them being set, because every day or every week you do a task and it gets filed in front of the next week if they're weekly cards. If they're monthly, they get placed in front of the month. Seasonal, it goes in front of the month you'd like to take care of. And then annual, same deal. So a lot of this has already been set. So for example, these are Monday cards that I've taken care of on you guessed it, last Monday. And so they were already filed in front of the 30th. Now, if you don't get to these on a Monday, you can always write skipped at the bottom in like pencil and then erase it. I've stopped doing this just because it tells my brain I can skip it, and I try my best to touch everything, at least a little bit, so that it doesn't go completely untaken care of. So here you see a new card that I've added that I just wrote in because it's, again, this is my land card deck still. I have a liveaboard card deck that I've been working on for a long time, and I just need to actually like finish it and finalize it. It's just hard because this is our 3rd year living on the boat. So it's not like I'm completely new to this, but it still feels like I'm new, if that makes sense. So technically I am new as far as when it comes to like liveaboard people. There's so many people with much more experience than me. But anyway, I'll eventually adjust this to life on water. But that's where you see like handwritten cards and things that I need to take care of. And that was an annual piece that I'm working on. These are my Wednesday cards, which are my favorite days. I love the administrative work. So it's anything that's in the office. Now, I want to give you a heads up. I'm going to cut out the video quite a few times when it comes to November, because November is such a heavy appointment month for me. And the nice things about the appointment cards is that I have all of my personal details on the cards, which I don't really want to share. So there's things like hair appointments, dental appointments, medical appointments, vision appointments, where I can include insurance information, past appointments, and any notes. And that way it just makes the whole process a lot easier for me. So November is heavy in appointments because it's reaching the end of the year, but also we just started winter moorage, which means our boat is at the dock. Before, we were traveling most of the summer, and this is just nice that we're in one place. We got our vacation out of the way, and our routines are like in the flow. Then now I can focus on those things. This is my artist date card. Oh, I love artist dates. Like I said, it's hard though, and I'm going to replace this card with those November weekly cards. And I thought about cutting them and filing them, and then I said, no, I'll just keep going. This is a Friday date, and it's all about clearing the air and indulging in self-care on my Fridays. Of course, you can do whatever you want and set each date, but having that flow has been so helpful over the years. I learned about the weekly rhythm, and I know this isn't for everyone, but when I was homeschooling my kids, I signed up for a Waldorf program, a homeschool program, and so Steiner talks a lot about weekly rhythms, and that's pretty heavy in the Waldorf system, and it's just been really helpful for our household, and I've kept that around. I don't obviously do Waldorf anymore in any way. There are certain things like holidays like Martinmas and recognizing saints, and also doing the weekly rhythm that I still enjoy. Here you see I'm moving my wash your car card to later on in the card deck. And that's because I knew for a fact I wasn't going to be able to wash the car at the time I was like just routinely supposed to do it. And so I filed it in front of a date that I knew I would get it done. So it's out of sight, out of mind, no stress. I'm not thinking about it until that date. Here we get back into the planner cards. They're color-coded in gray, so you know it's working from more of my goal-oriented space. And again, I don't want to deal with it yet because I need to reset it. The nice thing is, though, I have all of this done at the beginning of the 12-week year. I know what actions I'm going to take, and then I can make adjustments as I go, of course. But the foundation of trying to reach my goal has already been set, so I don't have to continually do this work. This video in its entirety was 1 hour and 20 minutes, and that was resetting further than just November. So I spent 1 hour and 20 minutes creating a foundation for the month of November for our household, but also basically setting up like my business, my work, my goals, and it's all set to go, so I don't have to think about it. So I'm going to get to those learning and video cards and the more planner type cards at the end of the video. So now you see there's nothing put in front of these dates, and that's because my weekly cards don't get shuffled until I've completed them and they get moved to the next week. So those dates will have things eventually after this week is completed and the next week is completed. It gets shuffled in front of the next week. But what I'm working towards is getting to the end of November. You can see some of those monthly cards pop up. So there was that car washing card. And then moving into the monthly review, which got shuffled in front of the 29th, just based off of when I was going to do things and the fact that it's end of the month. And then you see those monthly cards. And those are going to get shuffled in front of the dates that I'm going to take care of them. Again, they're more appointment-based, so I'm not going to show those, but you can see one exciting one is the NaNoWriMo card, which I'll touch in just a second. And the other one is this random lunch out card, which is like part of a budgeting idea that you plan for when you're going to eat out and how much it'll cost and where you want to go and blah, blah, blah. And we just had a vacation. So I'm filing that in front of December because we're not eating out in November. So going back to NaNoWriMo, it's National, Novel Writing Month is what it stands for. And in that month, because of the Artist's Way, one of the things I've wanted to do is to write a novel. And so I'm finally getting to it, like 3 years after doing the Artist's Way. But whatever. I'm going to write 2,000 words every day in the month of November. I'm really excited about it. And part of that is kind of figuring out how much time it's going to take you to actually write 2,000 words. When I was on the ferry the other day in that vlog I was talking about, I was able to write using, I'm trying to do my 2,000 words using pen and paper, which might be unrealistic and I might change it. But so I timed myself writing the one single page, seeing how long it would take me based off of that, how long it would take me to write 2,000 words. And then I included that time over on the right side of the card, which is a classic Sidetracked Home Executive kind of setup or layout of the cards. And that's really important as you get going to know, when you say, I don't have time for this, you have to, again, with timing yourself, going back to the even earlier with the time blocking and being realistic about what you can get done. I think sometimes we overestimate how long it's going to take us to do some tasks where we underestimate others. And I find that I overestimate all the things I don't want to do, such as washing dishes. I think it's going to take me forever, when in reality it generally takes me like 20 minutes. And then I underestimate how long it'll take me to do things I actually enjoy. So for example, making these videos or writing, researching, that type of thing, that takes me way longer. It's important to me to be able to be realistic about it, or I need to set aside time to make it so that I can actually do it. So now that I have everything set for our household, I'm going into my planner cards. And this is that free download. They're color-coded in gray, and they're very basic and simple because our goals are going to change. So for example, the last 12 weeks, it was more of an Etsy, get to know Etsy type of a goal. And that was great. But I learned a lot of things on how to set proper goals and how to create a good strategy, and so I was able to implement it into the next 12 weeks, and I ended up focusing on becoming a better YouTuber, just based off of the feedback I got within my Etsy shop and how people found me on Etsy, and then also some of the questions that people had around using the card system. I just think that this system, and especially like going into this planner system, I really do find it beneficial. It's more affordable than a planner. It's consolidating everything. And I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's this weird, quirky little system that has helped my creative brain that tends to be all over the place stay focused. So I really did want to focus on creating better YouTube videos to serve women or people like myself who are trying to just improve not only their household, but their lives in general. That's what I'm focused on as far as the 12-week year goes. And because they're totally blank, my next 12 weeks will probably be, since I've planned it out, it'll probably start in January, mid-January or so, and it's going to be more health oriented because while I am doing actions that keep me healthy, my favorite thing about YouTube is the community around it and hearing what everyone else is doing. I have this video about walking 20,000 steps a day, which I did every day for the year of 2020, or one of the months. Oh my gosh, not every day. But I did keep up with that up until we got on the boat, and I've become much less consistent when it comes to walking 20,000 steps. But I am so inspired by everyone that comments sharing what it is that they're doing and the results they're having and how good they feel. I'm like, I need to be better about doing, like, whether it's 20,000 steps or not. Maybe it's just like 15 or 10, or maybe it's miles, or maybe it's bar, just being more active every day. So I think that's going to be my next thing. So anyway, this planner card system is blank and available for you to kind of mold into your own thing. So this is a setup that has worked for me as far as like kind of a template look and what it is that I'm doing. There's different categories within my goal and my action cards. You have these date dividers, and then you have blank cards, basically. You have 12, I shouldn't say date dividers, they're week dividers. You have 12 weekly dividers that are, again, are blank, and that houses your scorecard. So if you've read the 12-week year, which I recommend, I'll link below, it is pretty like, I don't know. Just read it and tell me what you think. It has the scorecards there where you're measuring your lead and lag scores, and those action items below it are action cards, and it gets just listed off there so you can become accountable to yourself. So what I just highlighted then is a color-coded action category and the action I'm going to take. Now I'm filling out these action cards that I've set up as kind of templates around making videos. And I'm filling them out with information from my learning cards, which is looking at data and learning best practices, that type of thing. And so I'm referencing a card that I had done earlier to complete this action card, which is about making shorts. The highlighting, the color coding actually does really help with quick reference. It's not just for aesthetics, but it's something visual. Since this system is highly visual, it's tangible, it's something you can touch and feel and like hold out in front of your face. The color coding does help. I just looked at the next week ahead, and so I'm working from week 7. So now I'm just filing those action cards in front of the date that I want to take action on that item. So I'm not faced every day with this long to-do list of things I need to get to. Each day has a focus. I try and be realistic about how many days or how much time it'll take me. The way that I'm able to then break up my time is I time block on Google Calendar, so I know at different times of the day I'm going to be focused on things. Now, it doesn't always go that way, but it is helpful as far as having an idea of when I can tackle something. I am now shuffling week 7 behind the date at the end of the week, which I am a Sunday start, so it's at the end after a Saturday date. And again, with the 12-week year, these are things I've already set up long ago. I have a video of setting this, and I think I did a little bit of a reset a few weeks ago as well, adding more information to the following cards because I really just focused on getting the first 6 weeks done. And so now what I'm doing is making sure that the remainder of the 12 weeks is all set. So I really don't think about it. I'm just going to start following the actions and see how that goes. Now, when I'm writing up my scorecard, it's all following a similar format, which I referenced. A lot of that is from the 12-week year. You're affirming your goal up at the top, writing it in a way that makes it sound like you accomplished it or makes you feel motivated to keep going, eliminating the question of whether or not you do it. And then on the right side, I've put my level ups, is what I call it. It's that lag score. So that's any kind of data or analytics. So if you're trying to lose weight, that would be how many pounds you weigh, that type of thing. And in my case, I'm using just a few statistics that ChatGPT, which helped me with the YouTube strategy, suggested. And then below that are questions, which refer back to the goal. So it's not just action cards and data, but it's like, did I focus on these areas? Yes or no? And then also on that left side, which you just saw for a brief moment, that was the lead items. So in setting up this template for each week, what I just write is this week I am, and then I provide a scorecard space. Below that is going to be every action card item, but I find it more motivational, and then also it's very telling. So when I see, oh, why am I not reaching my goals? I know you didn't do this, or in my case, you could have done much better. These are only the things you did. You could have done way more or done a much more quality job on this or a different take on this. So I do find these score sheets really helpful. And I could have used Canva and created a template for myself where I'm not constantly rewriting these things, but I do find it beneficial. I find it beneficial to be, there's something about, it's not something, there's studies and all sorts of official reports written that there's some form of brain connection between your hand, writing something, physically visualizing it, handwritten, and your brain and how that makes you feel. So I do find it beneficial. I like reinforcing the idea that I'm working towards a goal, and I like writing out these things. And again, it's not like I'm doing it every day or every week. Now that I've set up the template for the weekly divider, which I'm going to get back to, I at least just have that set. So each week I know what it is that I'm going to do as a baseline as far as my goal was to create 2 videos a week. I'm adding in shorts now, so I have that also listed. But now I need to go in and actually figure out what those videos are. Those videos are action cards. Again, your action card could be anything, but these are things that every week I do 2 of them. So I'm setting up a template for those video cards now. I also store blank grid cards in my blanks tab of my card deck, so that way it's easy access and can add to it. I'm not actually creating the topic or theme yet for the video because I'm going to do that once everything is set up and I can take a look at it and then use some of those reference index cards. And I'm going to do that off video too because boring. But at least I have those templates set up. So now you have those repeatable tasks that I don't really have to think, oh, am I going to make a video this week? No, I am. So I have those template cards set up. So now with these blank weeks that I haven't gotten to yet, I'm just going to copy those obvious action items that I just created those templates for, video 1, video 2, shorts 1, shorts 2, that type of thing. I'm going to add that to the weekly template of action items to my scorecard. To round out the goal planning planner cards, action cards item. These are not as much templated, but single action cards. So for example, this is the learning category, which still has that affirmation up at the top. And then it says, today I am, instead of, making a video, it's going to be whatever specific action that is part of my larger strategy that's going to help me reach my goal. Now, again, I based my strategy off of asking ChatGPT for advice and kind of refining what it is that I was looking for with ChatGPT. I don't know if it was the smartest decision to go off of that instead of using a already set program or going with a mentor or something like that, but it fit my budget and it was a starting point. You have to start from somewhere. You don't know what you don't know. I've made this a challenge for myself before to become a better YouTuber or get better at creating videos, and I was kind of shooting darts at nothing. I didn't have an idea of what it was that I was supposed to be improving upon. Therefore, the videos didn't really improve. So this time around, I was trying to be much more methodical about it, and ChatGPT helped me do that. So I'm taking those action items that were suggested by ChatGPT and placing them onto the cards. Once those actions get completed, I then decide whether it is the suggestion of ChatGPT which week to put it on, or just based off of my own time and schedule and where I want to put my focus, deciding which week I'm going to file that in front of. So now, to round off this very long plan with me, monthly reset, November plan, I don't know what I'll call it, but it's resetting the month. And for me, really resetting up until like November 12th. I can't remember what the end of my 12-week year is. But now what I'm doing is filing these cards that are already done away. I'm using my November monthly card to note which days I'm going to be able to take care of it. So in general, I try to look at videos and scripting and deciding what it is I'm going to do for each one on a Monday. Also learning on a Monday. I guess it's more focused on learning and then implementing as I go, and then really focusing in on the production on Tuesday. So I have those filed accordingly. And then for those video template cards, what I did after I was done filming this video is that I went into my data. I used the past week cards, which when a card or an action card is completed, I then move it in front of the weekly tab, which sits there until the end of the week, where I'm able to cross it off and review what it was that I did, what worked well, what I need to still work on. I either follow up by shuffling that card to the next week, or if it's already taken care of, or I'm just not going to do it if I didn't get to it, I then move it to the back of my card deck in front of the planner tab. I don't know if you can see it in this video, but it's at the very back, and that has my brainstorming bubble. If you want more details on it, it's in a video, which I'll link, that actually details the 12-week planner cards. That goes in front of the planner cards though, and so I can reference it, and I did reference it in setting up the next few weeks with my video topics. I also looked at my analytics, of course, and thought about what it was that I could be most helpful in sharing with the card deck or walking or the artist's way. I don't know, all the different things that I like to focus on and talk about. So I know this was a longer video. If you've made it to this point, let me know. Otherwise, I'm so grateful that you watched the video. I truly hope you were able to pull something from it, if not just listening to me talk in the background while you wash dishes, like I do for a lot of my favorite YouTubers. That's totally cool too. Make sure that you do subscribe though, if you haven't already. If you like this video, I'd be so grateful. From what I've learned, it is helpful. Stay tuned, because I'm going to do this again in December. And December's plan with me is always so much fun to make, and I'm excited about that. I hope November goes really well for you. All right, thanks guys. Bye.